A few months ago, while reviewing the Mazda CX-5, I said it was like the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It seems Suzuki thinks the same. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Suzuki SX4 S-Cross, and here comes the kicker. It's the third generation. If everything looks strangely familiar, let me put your mind at ease. It is. Suzuki keep calling the 2022 S-Cross a third generation, but some brands deliver more changes during facelifts. Since its debut in 2013, the SX4 S-Cross dimensions remained virtually unchanged. It's still 4,300mm long, and the wheelbase is still 2,600mm long. The car is now 5mm higher, at 1,580mm, and the width is up by a whopping 20mm at 1,785mm. The fascia has changed for the third time since 2013, and that's a good thing because now the S-Cross at least doesn't look like a pig wearing a muzzle. Also, the rear lamps changed, and the button to unlock the tailgate is now lower next to the tailgate handle. Those rubberized buttons remained on the front door handles. The boot is the same at 430 liters. Drop the rear seats and you get up to 1,230 liters of cargo capacity. The 12-volt socket and the single hook are the same. You can still drop the floor or stow the parcel shelf underneath it. And in the spare wheel well lives a repair kit. In the back, you'll never guess, it's exactly the same. So, if you're 175 centimeters tall and so is the driver, you're okay for legroom, but headroom, not so much. Now, there are no air vents like in the previous generation, no USB ports. There is an armrest with some cup holders, and there are door pockets just big enough for bottles like these. However, the doors don't cover the sills. So, on a rainy day like today, when you have to get out, you have to do like a Spider-Man thing. Is that what Spider-Man does? I don't know. Let's assume you spent the last 10 years on a different planet like, I don't know, North America, and you've never seen the Suzuki SX4 S-Cross. I have good news for you. This is a very practical cockpit. The analog gauges are large and easy to read. There is a color display between them, which is almost okay, but not entirely. Sometimes when the car decides to read the speed limit, because it doesn't always do that, my instant fuel economy data disappears and I have to press a button to get it back. And getting deeper into the onboard computer menu requires pressing the button longer than to toggle between data, but not too long because otherwise you'll reset the long-term fuel economy readout. I had the same problem in the Suzuki Vitara, which of course you also have no clue about because you lived on a different planet. However, if the cockpit does look kinda sorta familiar, the only real change is the infotainment system screen. This one is even newer than the one on the Vitara, and since it features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, I really don't care what else appears on it. Below is the same AC panel with buttons and knobs like nature intended. You'll find this in most Suzuki cars. And underneath it is a smartphone cubby, which is too small. It's been too small since 2013. And instead of a 12-volt socket, there is now a USB charging port and a connection port because you need to connect your Android Auto to the screen. At the bottom of the console are buttons for two-stage seat heater. To be honest, I like my bum warmer than what the high setting has to offer here. The gear lever is exactly the same as it was since 2013. It works, no reason to make hasty decisions and change things. Cup holders, armrest, glove box, door pockets, all the same, all fine. Over
the years, some changes occurred under the bonnet. At launch, the SX4 S-Cross was offered with a 1.6-liter petrol and a 1.6-liter diesel, both producing 120 horsepower. Both were available in either front-wheel drive or all-grip on-demand all-wheel drive. The petrol came with a 5-speed manual or a CVT, and the diesel was a 6-speed manual only. Later, Suzuki replaced these two power plants with a 129 horsepower 1.4-liter petrol booster jet mild hybrid. Both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive models came with a 6-speed manual. However, now you can have the same engine with a 6-speed automatic, and this is exactly what we're driving today. It's a 6-speed automatic with all-grip all-wheel drive.
Suzuki claims this car will do 0 to 100 km per hour in 10.2 seconds. I managed an even better result in auto mode. I wasn't as lucky with fuel economy, which should be around 6 liters per 100 kilometers combined, and I was averaging well above 7.
As this is the all-wheel drive all-grip, it's time for the diagonal approach test.
Suzuki has 3 types of all-grip all-wheel drive. There's the Auto, used on the Swift and the Ignis, the Select, used on the Vitara and the S-Cross, and the Pro, featured on the Jimny. All Grip Select is an on-demand system which usually powers only the front wheels. When the system detects slippage, the electronically governed coupling sends some power to the rear wheels. In Sport mode, the rear wheels get power earlier for more dynamic handling. That's if you ever considered driving the S-Cross in a dynamic manner. You're more likely to be using the Snow mode, in which more power is sent to the rear, and the ESP as well as ABS simulate a diff lock to better distribute power to wheels which have traction. In the Snow Lock mode, power is distributed evenly 50-50 between front and rear. On my diagonal approach test, the S-Cross did much better than the Vitara with the same all-grip select all-wheel drive system. However, the Vitara was a full hybrid, whereas the S-Cross is just a mild hybrid. Even on wet, slippery grass, the S-Cross did fine in auto mode. The second approach was in snow mode. I think the car coped better in automatic mode. The third mode was Snow Lock. You can see the system working, but in auto it didn't think, it just did its thing. And the final approach is in Sport mode, just to see what will happen. Clearly no ABS ESP intervention to simulate diff locks, as expected.
Anyway, the S-Cross all-grip select mild hybrid did better than the Ignis all-grip auto mild hybrid, and better than the Vitara all-grip select strong hybrid. Something to consider if you're planning to take your Suzuki somewhere slightly more challenging. And what about normal road driving? Well, the S-Cross is a decent, honest car. It doesn't pretend to be anything that it's not. It trucks straight and true. The suspension copes better with bumps than that in the Vitara, although it's not as good as in the Qashqai. And just to be clear, I'm not fully satisfied with the Qashqai suspension either. I just like to complain about things. The steering is light and visibility is average. And also I have a similar problem that I had in the Dacia Jogger with the reach adjustment for the steering wheel. It's insufficient, so either my legs are too bent at the knees or I can't reach the steering wheel. At motorway speeds, the S-Cross does get a bit loud. It's mainly wind noise. It's not as bad as in the Dacia Jogger, where you'd also have some road noise and some engine noise as well. This is by no means a quiet car, but the noise is not quite as debilitating as in the Dacia.
The driver aids work okay. The S-Cross gets things like adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go function, meaning the car will stop in traffic and resume driving within 2 seconds of stopping. There is active lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, cross-traffic alert, and the biggest novelty is a 360 camera which helps during maneuvers. Prices of the Suzuki SX4 S-Cross start at €29,200 for the front-wheel drive manual non-hybrid comfort trim, €30,790 for the comfort automatic, €31,140 for the hybrid all-grip. Hybrid all-grip automatic sends you into the Comfort Plus spec for €36,040. With options, this test car costs about €37,500. On the day I was writing the script, Toyota just announced pricing for the Corolla Cross, which starts at around 38 grand. and a similarly spec Nissan Qashqai is way more expensive.
Calling this Suzuki SX4 S-Cross the third generation is, in my humble opinion, an overstatement. This is a continuation of a facelift at best, and the only real visible change is the infotainment update. Now, one of my dailies is a 3rd gen MX-5, and I don't like the 4th gen, but I suppose if Mazda offered my car with a tech upgrade, I might consider it. That's a lot of bull, but I can't think of anything else to sum up the S-Cross. And how do you like the Suzuki SX4 S-Cross? Would you upgrade from the original SX4 or the previous SX4 S-Cross, or maybe you're considering this car for the first time? Let me know in the comment section below.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.